Starting the manufacturing process for your clothing brand can both be exciting but daunting time. Trust me, I have been there. I have been through it. So I wanted to sit down here and share with you guys 10 questions you absolutely need to be asking your manufacturer before you even think about parting with your hard-earned cash. My name is Teddy G, and on this channel, I like to share what it's truly like to run a clothing brand, as well as dropping tips, tricks, gems, and all of that good stuff. And hopefully today's video is gonna be one of those gems. If you haven't watched my first vlog of 2024, and I hope I'm able to keep up with the day in the life of a clothing brand owner vlogs, but if you haven't watched that, I suggest that you watch it after this video, because I actually sit down with a new potential manufacturer and I bombard him with questions so you can actually see me in real life. But that aside, let's dive into this video. So one of the first things you are going to want to know about a brand new manufacturer is what their MOQ is. And if you don't know what MOQ is, MOQ basically stands for minimum order quantity. So you're gonna want to know what their minimum order quantity is per style and per color, because some manufacturers base their minimum order quantity per style and some manufacturers base their minimum order quantity per color. And to be honest, I prefer the ones that base it off style as opposed to color, because say you create a t-shirt and you want your t-shirt to be in black and white, that means they're gonna have a minimum order quantity for the white t-shirt and a minimum order quantity for the black t-shirts, which means that you will end up having to order more, especially if their minimum order quantity is quite high. And something that I always suggest to people that are starting out, try and look for a manufacturer that has a low minimum order quantity of around about 30 to 50. I know it's really tough, trust me, I've been there, but keep looking, you will definitely find them. And it's likely that you will have to pay some sort of premium, but you definitely will find them. So just so you know, this video is in no particular order. I was just writing down my notes just as the thoughts came to me. So the next thing you're gonna wanna ask them is what their sample process is. You will also want to know what exactly they will need in order to start this sample process. And I do need to apologize. My office neighbor is on the phone and I try my best to try and like mute him out when I do my editing, but just in case you can hear like muffled noise, that's what that is. So as I was saying, you're gonna want to find out what their sample process is. Do they need a tech pack from you? Do they need patterns? Do they need a sketch? You're better off sending them a full-on tech pack with all of the spec and all of the details that you need to create that particular garment. And it means that there's less room for error, less room for back and forth, less spent on samples. I do have a tech pack guides that you can find on my website, teddyg.co.uk, if you want a little bit of assistance creating a tech pack for your clothing brand yourself. Feeding into that, you are going to want to find out whether the manufacturer you're working with is a full package production manufacturer or a cut, make, trim manufacturer. This will definitely change the sorts of things that is expected of you as a designer, as a clothing brand owner. So say if you're working with a cut, make, trim factory, you're gonna need to send them things like your tech pack, construction details, the material, the thread, okay, probably not the thread, but the material, the pattern. There's so much more that goes into working with a cut, make, trim factory, whereas with a full package production company, a lot of the time all you will need to do is send them a sketch. But at the very least, try and send them a tech pack. Definitely study how to create a tech pack for your clothing brand. My notes are absolutely all over the place because the next thing you will need to know is the sample lead times. Now, what I mean by sample lead times is basically how long it's going to take from when your sample goes into production to when it actually reaches your door. So how long that process is, that is what we call lead time. You need to know these sorts of details so that you know exactly when it is that you'll potentially be able to launch. You will also need to know your production lead time. So this is from the point of which your full-on bulk order goes into production. So when it starts production to when it actually gets to you, you need to know the amount of time that is going to take. So just for a little example, from the meeting that I had, the lead time for samples, I believe he said was like 2 to 3 weeks. And then for production, because I was only developing around about 300 units of clothing, he said that would be around 4 to 5 weeks. So just to put that into perspective for you guys. A really, really important thing that you need to ask your manufacturer as soon as possible is what their payment terms are. So what method of payment do they accept? And how are the payments made? So what I mean by what method of payment do they accept is it a thing where they want you to transfer that money straight into their bank account? Scary. Or do they accept escrow, PayPal? Ask these sorts of questions. If you're not happy with the payment terms, perhaps suggest a different payment term to them and see whether they're able to, accept PayPal or accept escrow if you're not comfortable sending them money directly to their bank account. Now, when I talk how payments are made, I mean, okay, so you want your 150 t-shirts to go into production. How do you make that payment? Some will say, okay, we need 50% of the payment paid up front, and then the rest of it would be paid on delivery or on inspection, whatever it may be. And in all honesty, guys, this is like really dependent on the manufacturer. I have worked with manufacturers that take 100% of the payment after delivery. I have worked with manufacturers that take 50% upfront and then 50% after it's been delivered. I have worked with manufacturers that take 100% of the payment when you inspect the product at their facilities. So that was a manufacturer that I worked with in the UK, and I feel like that is fair enough. I suppose as a company they also need to protect themselves. So I guess that's why they would want to take 50% up front. But you as a client, you also need to find ways to protect yourself. Now, next, if you're working with a full package production manufacturer, some of the questions that you want to ask is, what kind of fabrics do they have available for you? Are they able to find the fabrics that you want to work with? Do they have them in stock? What sort of colors do they have? How can you go about getting custom colors? What do they need? Do they need Pantone references? It's questions like that so that you know whether they are actually going to be able to produce the garment that you want the way you want it produced. The next question that you're going to want to ask them is, what exactly do they provide? So when they've manufactured your garment, are they providing garment labels? Are they providing care labels? Are they providing the little garment tag that goes in the back? Are they providing hang tags? Are they providing poly bags for the garment to go into once it's been produced? What sort of additional things can they provide? Because a lot of these full package production companies can also provide custom poly bags, and that could all be included in the price, which is really quite good. So definitely ask the question and try and get the most you can get out of this particular manufacturer that you're working with. Next, you need to ask whether they have a standard contract that they use when they're working with clients, and it's always good to have a contract in place. And within that contract, you need to ask certain things about that contract. So it's things like, what will happen if my product is delivered late? What will happen if I am unsatisfied with the products that you have given me? These are sorts of questions that you need to ask. And also, when you're reading through your contract, I am not a legal advisor, just a disclaimer. But when you are reading your contract, try and make sure you either seek legal advice so that you can understand some of the complicated terminology that I feel like is so unnecessary that they use in contracts sometimes. But make sure you are understanding all of the little legalities within the contract and you are 100% happy before signing it. And a lot of manufacturers will also suggest for you to also add in your own little clauses in the contract. so that you are 100% happy as well. Now, my final point on things that you need to ensure that you're asking your manufacturer before parting with your hard-earned cash is, what is their production capacity? Because at the end of the day, when you start this clothing brand, you are gonna blow. You are gonna blow because you are watching this video, okay? And I am here to help you start your brand and to blow. So you need to ask what their production capacity is moving forward. So some manufacturers will be like, okay, we can produce 1,000 t-shirts a week or 1,000 t-shirts a month. The reason why you need to know that is so that, say if your brand does blow, you need to ensure that this manufacturer is able to keep up with the demand, because there's nothing worse than having your customers waiting weeks on weeks for a restock. Just saying. So yeah, those are 10 things you're gonna want to be asking your manufacturer before you part with your hard-earned cash, and ensure that you get answers that you are 100% satisfied with. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and please guys subscribe, because honestly I am road to 100. Okay, first 25,000 subscribers, but honestly at the end of this year I kind of want to be on 100. I want to be on 100,000 subscribers. So please definitely subscribe, support your girl, and I will continue, I mean, to be honest, regardless, I will continue to pump out awesome content. But yeah, I'll catch you guys very soon.